can, get back if I can.
I know. Gosh. Well, first of all, I want to welcome everybody back to the Beard Al podcast, the podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. Yeah, we took a little break because life gets busy. You know, things happen in this world, but we are back and we are even worse than we were before.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So that's us kicking off the Even Worse album series where we're talking about all of the tracks on Weird Al's 1988 album, Even Worse.
Mm-hmm. And like from here out, with the exception of a couple of tracks on Alapalooza and a couple of tracks on Alpocalypse, I think, like, I could be wrong, but I think like I think I have a deep love for like every single thing going forward. Like, do you remember how early on we had a different way that we were grading things?
Yeah.
And I was like I was grading every single track on 1 to 27.
Yep.
Right. And you were like trying to grade it. Like, there's going to be a lot of 27s going forward from me.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
I mean, there's so much gold in his catalog going forward. For me, not that anything like before this is like lackluster, but like we're about to hit that stride where like I almost got in fistfights over Weird Al in the 90s. Like,
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much good. And I don't even think it's been so long. It's been so long, you guys. I'm Lauren. I'm always here because this is my show. Gosh darn it.
Mm-hmm.
And with me is my husband, Weird Al fan, Michael Jackson fan, overall cool dude, Russ. Hello.
Hello.
And because this is the Beard Al podcast, I want to start this off first. We are, in fact, enjoying a beer.
We are, in fact, enjoying a beer.
I'm going to take a sip of it here. Just because I need to.
You know, it's not just every day that I roll my chair in here to partake in the Beard Al podcast. But when I hear that the cross section of Weird Al and Michael Jackson is going to occur, I say, now hang on a minute.
Yeah,
let me roll my chair in there.
You rolled that chair in here with such a fervor. I believe there's like burn marks on the carpet.
Yeah.
Really, really good. In light of the fact that we're talking about the first track on Even Worse, which is, of course, Fat, parody of Michael Jackson's Bad. Actually, we have a beer that we're sharing a can of this to start the episode. It's a beer that actually makes sense for the song.
Sure.
Weirdly enough, it's from Ardwolf Brewing Company, which is a local Jacksonville brewery, which, fun fact, was awarded the 2025 Folio Weekly Jack's Best Brewery Award recently. Ardwolf. And it's a beer called Large Deborah.
That's great.
Oatmeal cream pie imperial stout. Aged for 2 years in bourbon barrels.
And you can taste it.
You sure enough can. It's delightful, Large Deborah.
But yeah, Large Deborah, if you look at this can, if you're listening to this episode and you Google it, Large Deborah looks as if you looked at Little Debbie and after Weird Al expands.
Yep.
That's what she looks like.
That is what she looks like. Yeah. So this is Large Deborah. I like it. Very good. So let's talk about Fat, shall we?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. So this is this is one of those classic Weird Al songs that I think if you were to shake like the average human being awake in the middle of the night, like name a Weird Al song, like after Eat It, they're probably going to say Fat or Smells Like Nirvana.
I would argue that that's a generational thing.
Sure.
I think nowadays many people would go to like White and Nerdy or Pentiums first. But like, I don't know how to say this. Well, you know what? I'm going to make a lot of people angry with but on both sides of the fandoms with things I'm going to say in this episode. So I'm not even going to start apologizing because
Weird Al's a safe space.
Beard Al is, Weird Al should be, but the ridiculousness that I see go on online is what makes me like start to be like, well, I should apologize, but I'm not going to. I would argue that people that come to Weird Al shows these days and hear Fat are like, oh yeah. But I would argue that it's Michael Jackson's insane popularity that keeps Fat popular. Like,
I'm
okay,
nodding.
every single place you go on planet Earth, you hear Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Every single place that you go. You walk into a nunnery, you're going to hear Michael Jackson.
Sure.
Okay. You don't hear Weird Al everywhere that you go. And that's a fact.
No, the average person doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, the average person doesn't. When you hear Weird Al in public in 2026, this is not a scientific test. 9 times out of 10 in 2026, it's going to be White and Nerdy or Penny Ups.
Sure.
In my opinion, or maybe Amish Paradise. When people hear bad in public, I would argue that most people don't think of Fat anymore. But because Weird Al has kept it such a staple in his set, I think that keeps the association there together. Now, before any Weird Al fans are listening to this going, oh, Jesus, I do not in any way think that Weird Al is clinging to Michael Jackson or anything along those lines. I think that this is an enormous hit for him. I think the bad suit or the fat suit is a big part of what he does. I think he would be remiss to leave it out of his set. Like yes, I know that he has left it out of his set before.
At this point, though.
Yeah, at this point, like when you're touring the hits, you know what I mean?
You can't do bigger and weirder without Fat.
Yeah. And so, like it's a part of the thing, but I just don't think that like people like if you walk up to like a 18-year-old, I don't think they know Fat. I would say they would know Michael Jackson bad, but they wouldn't know Fat right off the top, which in some ways, and hopefully the average Weird Al fan is still with me on this. I think that's glorious. Like you and I have talked before about like, I don't know how much money I would have to pay for it. Like if they ever come out with this type of technology and if it's ever like in any way, I'm going way out on a limb here, but like if they ever come out with this type of technology and if it's in any way like perfected to be safe, there are things I would like pay to be able to hear Welcome to the Jungle for the first time again. Like for me and you to be sitting here and for you to like use whatever, like a Men in Black type thing. Right.
Yeah.
And you to be like, dunk, do the thing and then be like, hey, I wanted to play something for you. Right. And then for me to legit have zero memory of ever hearing like welcome to, or insert song here. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like for an 18-year-old kid who like, is wild about MJ, which is like every generation is, I would love for someone to be like, oh yeah, the Pentiums guy, get a load of this.
Yeah.
Like it would blow my mind.
Oh, for sure. So I think that's a really good way to kind of get into setting the stage for Fat and kind of the context, right? For
the reinforced stage.
Hey-oh. Yeah. So, Polka Party 1986 did not perform well commercially.
Which we labored
for months.
I'm saying that more for me to stop myself from going on.
We don't have to talk about that.
If you would like to hear a lot about how disappointed we were with the general public not catching on to Polka Party, listen to all of those episodes. Yeah.
So after Polka Party, right? Because if you think about the context of Al's career up to that point, he was doing an album a year, right? Because you had in 3D, boom, and then Dare to Be Stupid, boom, and then Polka Party, boom, and then Polka Party did not do well. And so he took a beat. He took some time. And when it is the late 80s and you are trying to come back from your biggest commercial disappointment and you are Weird Al, what do you do? Right? And one could be of two minds about this, right? It's a gamble either way, because it's like, do you go back to that thing that kind of brought you to the forefront in the first place, in like parodying the King of Pop again, or do you try something else, And
yeah,
I feel like Fat was the smartest thing for him to do, to be like, oh, wait a second. Like, I'm still here, Because, like, if you think about especially at that time, novelty, I hate that term, like novelty music, because I think there's credibility to every kind of art, whether it's silly or not.
It's the same thing as the term hair metal.
Right.
Like people who use the term novelty music correctly, I have no issue with. People who use the term novelty music to dismiss it, those are the folks I have an issue with.
So novelty music at that time, and one could argue like still now, is kind of and I'm going to use another phrase that I hate, but it's kind of a one-hit wonder game. Like you put your silly song out and that's it. You don't have a lot of like long careers built on funny music. Like, yes, you've got your Tom Lehrers and your Stan Frebergs and all this, that, and the other. But by and large, this is like, I did this. Oh yeah, they did this one funny song, and that's kind of all they're known for.
Or even people that had careers in other things, and I'm going to name 3 comedians in a row because they're front of mind. But like Steve Martin, Rodney Dangerfield, and Eddie Murphy. Right. Like 3 comedians known for many other things, but like by and large only had those 3 musical hits. And got out of Dodge.
So. Well, you're Weird Al, you had a thing that didn't do so super well. So then what do you do? And like one of the notes that I have here is that, like, again, like being a novelty artist again at that time is like your longevity is not guaranteed. Weird Al is, if nothing else, a complete like anomaly of his. Well,
we've talked about this before too, and I know he's Weird Al, and it's kind of tongue in cheek when he says it, but in his Behind the Music, where he talks about when he went back to his label every year, and they would be like, "Didn't we do this already?" Like you would think the label was every year was probably like, really?
Yeah,
like you're still here?
Yep.
Here's my thing with 1987 specifically. There was so much going on musically that year, but there was a lot of budding things at the time, and a lot of people don't realize how hard it would have been. Okay, how hard it would have been to go anywhere other than MJ.
We've had this discussion, you and me, privately.
No, I
know.
I know. Well,
you have to bring it to the. I'm just saying.
We're talking to other people.
I know.
But here's the thing. So first things first. Prince released the monster that is Sign of the Times that year. We already know that's a closed door, right? I mean, there's so many cool things that Weird Al could have done with the massive amount of diverse material that's on Sign of the Times, but we already know that's a closed door. Okay. So Prince is out, right? Even though it was a decade and a half into being accepted, rap, as far as mainstream goes, was still very much in its infancy. Not only that, but like what would go on to be known as gangster rap was like very much in its infancy, because PE and NWA were like just really getting beyond a whisper at that point. There's no way Weird Al's getting away with parodies of these guys,
right,
like in 1987.
Right.
That's if they even go along with the giving permission. It was just too hot to handle at that point. There was no way that he was going to be able to do anything along those lines. And then you look at the genre of the day. And again, I love this genre. I hate this term, but it's the way to describe it. Hair metal. So if you're going to go at hair metal, what do? As much as I love the genre,
yeah, I know. Squirrels wasn't going to do it.
Well, no, I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, for as much as I love that entire genre and all that, to this day, I am, if I play 10 different songs by my favorite, 10 of my favorite quote unquote hair metal bands, nobody in the room but me is going to be able to tell you the difference between any of them.
Yeah.
And that's with distinct enough voices, like, say if I play a Jenny Lane led Warrant song right after a Poison song, unless it's Fallen Angel in Heaven, nobody in the room is going to know the difference between Warrant and Poison. So if you're Weird Al, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't a distinct enough thing. So you look around the room in 1987, who's the most distinct person doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Joseph Jackson.
Yep.
Right. So, if you're Weird Al, just from an artist standpoint, from what you do, from an integrity standpoint, you got to do the thing that will make you stand out the most. But at the same time, I could totally see having people go, oh, okay, so he stumbles one time and back to Michael Jackson we go. But at the same time, Michael Jackson also put out Thriller in December of 82 and didn't have anything else until October of 87. Right. And Weird Al had put out 3D, Stupid, and Polka Party in the meantime.
Yep.
So it wasn't like Weird Al just sat around and was like, man, wait till he does something again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I totally know.
I mean, the man was creative and had put out what I say again, 3D, and then two records in the meantime.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was sitting around waiting for MJ to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And if there had been, and again, you know, in '87, the other thing that was coming up was college radio, right? But again, you know, I the things that were bubbling up at the time, Depeche Mode, the B-52s, you know, that was all not ready for prime time. You know, like even I think Weird Al was way ahead of the game doing Spam in '89 because most people, really the mainstream still thought of REM as a new band when Out of Time broke in '91. That's very true. You know, like so there was. Let me put it this way: sure, everybody now loves Just Like Heaven by The Cure. And you can look at the copyright on that all day and go, oh, well, why didn't he do that? Because none of your friends knew who The Cure was in 1987. That's why he didn't do that in 1987. You know, so again, you know, who's, you know, when you look around the room in 1987, who's the most ripe for parody?
Yep.
And I know we're going to cover the entire record, but it's not like this is a weak record that is heavily anchored on one thing. This is a very strong album.
Yeah.
That is anchored on a very strong lead single. And then everything else is him going, and then here's some things that were also going on in 1987. And I would argue that's why there isn't a polka on the record, because there's enough going on in 1987 for him to go, hey, here's kind of a yearbook of what's going on in 1987. Without
the polka.
Yeah, without having to really do the polka, because the only thing left over would have been to do the hair metal polka.
Oh yeah, which, you know, at this point in time I'd pay money to hear. But like,
oh my Lord,
wouldn't that be something?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the stage set for this, and kind of like, well, this is how we end up with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now Michael Jackson's involvement with Fat, and like why that is so important for essentially what became Al's like first comeback after a slump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked so much on the show, and we're going to talk more about it now, about how like Michael Jackson didn't just like approve this. He didn't just give the okay. Like he supported this, and he said, let me help you make this the best that it can possibly be, right? Because he allowed the direct musical parody, and we'll get into the video in a bit, but like Michael Jackson made sure that the video parody was as good as it could be. And he said, no, if you're going to do this, it's going to happen correctly, which absolutely could be argued that this helps to further establish Al's credibility as the kind of artist that he was and continues to be, and also reinforces the mutual respect between Weird Al and the people that he's, you know, spoofing.
Oh, I think so. I look, you know, well, there's a couple things. Let me dial back and mention this real quick. Shortly after we lost the King of Pop, they had a wonderful memorial for him. And while she doesn't mention Weird Al specifically, during this a beautiful speech that Brooke Shields gave at Michael Jackson's memorial, one of the things that she talks about is that he loved to be teased. And she talks about what a wonderful sense of humor that he had. And she talks about how if you knew him in his personal life, like when he laughed, his heart burst out of his chest when he was laughing, and he never made fun of other people, but he loved when people teased him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I want to be clear: at no point does she go, "That's why she loved it." He loved it, Weird Al, like but I mean that just correlates with this, and while this isn't particularly poking fun directly at Michael Jackson, because that's not the kind of guy Weird Al is, Michael obviously looked at this and was like, as serious as he's taking himself in the everything to do with the bad video, he just, in the song itself, he just looked at that and said, "Oh man, this is going to be a riot," and again, and I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. Whether or not anybody wants to admit it, or the media wants to rewrite history, or whatever people want to click on, whatever videos choose to use, whatever resources they want to. Michael Jackson was and always will be the biggest entertainer of all time. Here's a statement that's never going to age poorly. No one is ever going to surpass Michael Jackson as far as his impact on pop culture.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a you had to be there situation. Like, I think even in the time that we've been together, I've shown you like media clips and stuff, where you've been just like, holy cow, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about his performances and stuff, just like, for example, when we talk about rewriting history, there are shows that are set in the 80s, where I've said to you, like, I can tell you this isn't accurate because this kid's room isn't plastered with MJ. Mm-hmm. And then we have watched TV shows and movies that were actually shot in the 80s. I can't remember what we were watching the other night.
Back to the Future Part 2.
Back to the Future Part 2. And remember when I said, you want to know how you can tell this was actually shot in the 80s? And there was 6 Michael Jackson posters in this little girl's room.
Yeah.
6 different MJ posters in this little girl's room.
Yep.
There is never going to be an artist that comes anywhere near the stratosphere. Good, bad, or indifferent, by the way. There's a lot of bad that comes with the stature that he had. Mm-hmm. When you are at that level, to reach down, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, to anyone and say, I am giving you my blessing in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then say, hey, by the way, let me loan you my set. Also, as rumor has it, I'm going to suggest the topic for the damn song.
Yep.
And make this as funny as possible. Poke fun at the whole thing. I don't know if you have this in your notes, but it's been told to me that Weird Al was pretty much going to have the video start with the rotation around him and him expanding. Mm-hmm. And Michael was like, no. You got to do the mugging scene. And Weird Al was like, but that's like making fun of like the thing. And Michael was like, yeah, like that's the thing. You got to poke fun of that, because Michael was like, there's no way I could have beat up those guys. Like, mm-hmm. Right. And Weird Al was like, but I don't want to make, and he was like, yeah, but do it, like, make it about you being fat. And Weird Al was like, okay. At that point, if you are any artist past that, you look like an idiot. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to let Weird Al work with you. Yep.
Yep. That's, I mean, all true points.
Yeah.
Absolutely all true points. And it's like, to get to, the video of it all, because I feel like the song Fat, you can't mentally separate the visuals from the song, right? Like that's part of it. I've got the freaking Funko Pop of Weird Al being fat, like sitting in this room right here, And so, like, Michael Jackson's Bad video, very, it starts with that thing that like you just said that Weird Al didn't even want to do. He's like, I can't poke fun at this.
Well,
like,
the
that's too serious
video, yeah. I mean, there's like the ridiculous one,
right? But I mean, that's why we get the "you ain't fat, you ain't nothing," ding dong, yo. Like,
there's no end to how many times. If I were to try and put a count, it's got to be 1 million times that I've said "ding dong, yo, ding dong."
Yep, like, I believe that, and I think it's fabulous.
That, and then this is for the MJ fans, but I can't even walk past like a cheap sunglasses rack in a. You've heard me say this. Walk past anywhere where I see glasses, I'm always like tortoise shell. Oh, really? I thought it was turtle shell.
Yeah. So
that's from the way long, but that's from the black and white portion
of the way long. You've shown me that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's,
So, I think we need to talk about the seriousness of the silly of the fat video, right? Because I think the fat video takes its silliness just as seriously as Bad takes its seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
no,
make
I
sense?
totally agree. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there are so many little jokes visually in the fat video that I think we would be, you said this phrase already, but we would be remiss if we didn't touch on all the silly things that happen in the video. And again, the fact that it's the correct set. There is so many parallels between the two videos. Somebody on YouTube blessed us with a side-by-side where you could absolutely watch and see, like, there's so many of the beats.
They did that. Somebody did with Eat It.
With Eat It also,
right?
Yeah. So many of the beats,
which I still can't
the
believe
same.
MJ got away with ripping off that song. But
I know, but we, watch the documentary. Watch the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing I want to say, and I maybe this will blow people's minds. Fat is one of the Weird Al videos that every single and I've seen it 1,000 times.
Sure.
It's one of the only Weird Al videos that I laugh at every single gag just as hard every time I watch it as the first time that I watched it.
I know, I believe that.
But there's there's, in no disrespect to other Weird Al videos, when you watch like The Hangover or whatever, and you've seen it like a million times, and you don't laugh at the stuff, but it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that like you're like, oh, I'm better than this now. Like, but you know what I mean? Like
right.
it's funny. That's how I am with a lot of Weird Al videos, where like I'm like, oh yeah, like I know that's funny. I will never not giggle at every single gag in this video.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is about the batter set. A lot of people misquote this as being the bad set.
Uh-huh.
And it's even funnier, and a lot of people don't know this, is that it's not the bad set, it's the bad-er set. And for those of you who might be on one side of this,
so what you talking about now?
Yeah. There was a 3/4 size version of the bad video set that was created specifically for the Michael Jackson film Moonwalker, where they had kids recreate the bad, like a 1-for-1 version of the bad video. And that's the one that Michael loaned to Weird Al. And it's for two reasons that Michael did that. Number one, Michael thought it was funny as hell that it would be the third
that makes him
version.
Even fatter.
And two, Moonwalker was shot a year after Bad came out, which fell in line with when Weird Al was putting together Even Worse.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made more sense for them to use that.
Sense.
But that's why it's so hilarious when they're like going through the turnstiles and stuff, because it's not meant for a full-size person in the first place, let alone a fat person.
Yep, the turnstiles. And I just need to mention my favorite visual gags, and then we'll throw it to an ad break, and then come and talk about the.
I wanted to mention my favorite visual gag if it's not the same as yours. But
yeah. And then I was just going to say, then after the ad break, we'll talk about the song itself. And I feel like the people need to know, we keep saying the word fat, and one of our dogs we call Fatso and Big Fatty. And so we keep saying fat, and she thinks we're talking about her. So she's in here making a fool of herself.
Her's a big fat girl.
My two favorite gags in this are the hoe and the pinwheel.
I like the pinwheel. My favorite thing, because of the parallels are so great between the two videos. In one of my favorite dance parts in the Bad video is when they take off running on the big sweeping side camera.
Yes.
And when the camera gets way ahead of Al and his crew, and it's almost as if the camera guy is like, oh yeah, that's right, they can't keep up. And it slowly comes back and they're all like winded.
Yep.
That's one of those things. Like, I almost am laughing at it as hard as I would. Like, it every time, even when I'm watching Bad, and that happens, I kind of want the camera to like go ahead of MJ and his crew, and I'm like, damn it, they're all fit.
They're all fit.
Yeah,
That's great.
Stupid dancers' bodies.
Yeah, they're fit, not fat.
But that part absolutely destroys me every single time, and it's I don't know who directed the video, if it was Al himself or who, but the way the camera like goes, and then it's almost that the camera like stops like, oh, and like goes back like, oh yeah, they can't keep up. And then of course, and when they're all laying there, and I think one of the columns like even breaks. But I think that's my favorite visual gag in the whole with that. And then the other, because of the wonderful roller skate artist that MJ employed in his video. And because Michael was always looking for these wonderful street artists to employ, and who all these people went on to like great things after, as you might imagine, after being picked for these Michael videos, and then here comes this guy looking like I would on roller skates, in the video. It's just wonderful.
Like oopsie daisy. Yeah. So I think this is a great time to throw it to an ad break, and remember, the ads are based on what you Google, so don't blame me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back again. So I want to talk about the fat as like a concept with this song. I have to recount a thing that occurred on the internet within the past like week or so of recording this. I'm just flopping around one of the many social network sites that I have because I have this podcast and I need to promote it. I can't even remember which one. But somebody... Was it
the one where people were being insufferable about things they don't need to be?
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. You should stay off that one.
I know. Oh, no. I'm not going to have anywhere to promote the show now.
You ain't kidding.
You ain't kidding. You ain't nothing. So somebody had posted about like fat suits in general kind of being, insensitive or whatever.
I'm sorry. I know what you said, but what I heard was someone had posted about comedy and how it's okay to have comedy.
Yeah. So
I say that as a fat person, by the way.
I know. So then
go on.
Somebody replied to that and said, like, okay, but can we give Weird Al a pass for the fat suit for the song Fat? And then somebody else replied to that and said, I low-key love the song Fat, and to me it's more of an anthem, even though it probably wasn't written that way. To which I replied, it literally was written that way. He's saying, celebrate me, I'm fat. It is body positive. Mm-hmm. To which that person replied, oh wow, I didn't realize that. So let's talk about how incredibly positive this song is, right? Because again, Michael Jackson's Bad is celebrating the fact that he is bad and can kick your ass, right? He's like, don't mess with me. I can kick your ass.
Yeah, well, now...
sorry, your butt is mine.
Well, no. I would argue that the bad is not necessarily, in my opinion, bad is not necessarily... and I'm not saying you're saying it. It's not necessarily about physical violence.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah. It's about in really you need this is where the black and white setup comes on the video. But the song Bad is about just believing in yourself. Like I'm me and I'm a badass and whatever you have to say about me doesn't matter. And I would argue that fat is the exact same thing. Yeah. Like I don't care what you have to say about me. Like I'm fat, and I'm probably going to skip a little bit ahead here, but we're going to cover all this.
Yeah, we get there.
One of my absolute favorite things in Fat is at the end when he works in all the fat jokes, because to me, as a kid who grew up a fat kid and had to learn to have people to force people to laugh with me and not at me, that to me at the end of the song is Weird Al saying, I've already heard all the fat jokes. So like that's tired. Like like nothing you're going to say is funny because I've already heard all of it. So to me, both songs are a person just being like, yeah, whatever you have to say doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, just so we've made the same point, and I love that.
All right.
Like, yes. So there's so much confidence in the song Fat. And anybody who thinks that the song is poking fun of being fat hasn't paid attention to the song. You know, it literally starts with, your butt is wide, well, mine is too. Just watch your mouth or I'll sit on you. You better treat me right because I'm the king of cellulite, right? It's like, look I'm fatter than you, and that makes me badder than you.
Well, again, I would argue that it's the same as the person in Bad. Is just, I don't care what you have to say. Like, you know, like this is, you know, like all of the insults you could use against me are right here in the song. Like, you know, when I'm going to the movies, I take up 7 rows and all like
when I sit around the house.
Yeah, but like
really
before you say that about me, yep. I've never seen my toes. Like, yep, you're right. You know what I mean? But like also, you know, I'm fat, you know it. Like before you ever say that about me, yep. You know, and the thing is, before anybody goes, Jesus, they're sucking all the fun out of it. That's the thing, is it's still fun.
Yep.
Like it's a blast. Like, because in my perspective on this is when I was a kid, before you laugh at me, I'm going to make you laugh with me. And this was part of that lesson, was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll make them laugh with me instead of, you know, at me,
right.
You know? And as a fan of both artists growing up, I was like, man, what a way to get 2 great lessons from the same song from 2 artists I love.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And like one of the notes I have here is, and this applies to both songs, it's just unapologetic presence. Like, I'm here as I am, and what are you going to do about it? Right. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. Right. So that's where Fat kind of came from. And it's like, it works so well, especially again, like we said at the front of the show, like at this point in Al's career, right? He's kind of got an established thing that he does. So people sort of know what to expect from him. But this, again, this shows growth from, let's say, parody from the album before this, Girls Just Want to Have Lunch.
Oh,
right?
my Lord.
Girls Just Want to Have Lunch is just lunch jokes. Like, there's no...
Girls Just Want to Have Lunch is what an uninspired artist... Okay. Girls Just Want to Have Lunch is what the album would have sounded like if he looked around in 1987 and settled.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what it would have sounded like if he looked around in 1987 and went, I guess I'll do whatever Whitesnake has. I'll figure out something for Here I Go Again.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's exactly what the album would have been in 87 if he would have just looked around and been like, and again, you know this, I adore Whitesnake, especially that 1987 album. But like, you know, if he would have looked around and been like, well, I guess I'll just do that stuff, you know, like then you would have ended up with an uninspired record.
Yeah.
You know, and Fat is an inspired song. I mean, it's just, you know, and we've talked about this ad nauseum with other things too. Look, you have insane names working on the Bad record. Of course, Q and Michael are heading this up, right? But you have names like Greg Fillinganes throwing down bass lines and keys. Saida Garrett's there throwing down background vocals. You know, Steve Lukather is involved in parts of this album. You know, I don't have the personnel list in front of me, but it's just insane. Just on this track alone, it's insane, right? And then here's Al and his crew being like, and again, way before the internet, way before plugins and digital and all that, being like, we'll go ahead and produce this track that sounds as a Michael Jackson enthusiast and audiophile, pretty dang close to the original track. That's ridiculous.
I know. Yeah. And I think so. Talking about, we touched on like where he's at in his career now, right? And I think that's why so many of these parodies hit so much better than parodies like on we didn't do this series for his self-titled debut album, and like for a reason, because he hadn't hit his stride at that point like yet. But this is funnier because of how good it sounds. Right? Like,
I think I mentioned this before. This is, in my opinion, this is the first album where everything production-wise sounds absolutely brilliant to me.
Yeah. Because I think it partly could be the benefit of the luxury of time,
I mean any number of things,
there's a lot of there's a lot, but
there's one thing I want to talk about the song in particular, and you have to deal with this every single time it plays in the car.
No, it's all good. I know
it's my one thing. And for the Weird Al fans, you're gonna be like, God, what a nitpick. This is it's the only thing that bothers me is and before I say this, I'm aware that Al almost never does 1-to-1. There's like sections of songs missing. And I understand that. Like, I get that. But Fat rather, he's like real close to almost doing the whole damn song. And it's just at the end of Bad, in the whole vocal ad-lib section with the and to put it in Fat terms, like the whole when I sit around the house, I really sit around the house and all that, and Al's doing the overdubs, I'm huge, I'm fat, and all that, and the woo in Bad. Al hits all of them except for Michael does this one really filthy vocal where he goes, I'm bad, like really, really filthy. And it's the only one Al doesn't do. And there's not a reason why. It's not like it's a Michael way too high vocal or anything. It's a downscale one. And it's the only one that bothers me.
Yeah.
And I love that I do love that he does I'm huge. That I adore that's there, but it's more when I hear Bad, I remember that it's not that one's not in Fat. But that's literally like the very first time I heard Fat and it ended, I was like, no, yeah, like but
why?
Yeah, and who even knows why that's not there? But it's just that's the one minor annoyance I have with this.
No. And I totally get that. And that's fair, especially.
It's a much better grievance to have than that terrible solo that Derringer laid down on Eat It.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know.
Rest in peace, Rick. But that tone is terrible. Like,
this song is great, and it endures as it does for, again, so many reasons. I love how nothing in Fat feels like a throwaway line. Everything is purposeful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is truly, a return to form in a lot of ways. And again, we talked about Polka Party so much. We talked about every track on it, and I think it absolutely is an underrated album. But there's so much on there that it's like, okay, you're a little burnt out, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels like he's like, all right, I'm back at it. I'm ready to make the magic that you have all come to expect from me at this point. And like, it's just like Bad gets more intense as the song goes on. Like lyrically, this does too.
Oh, I totally agree.
Well,
even like the point I made earlier about like, earlier in the song, he's very like slow and deliberate with the like the way that like I've already heard that one, and at the end he's rapid firing the jokes.
Yep, it's like yeah, and so I just think it's great. So I would say to anybody out there who may have avoided fat for some reason, and if you're listening to this show, you have not avoided fat, but for those people on the internet that are like, this song is making fun of fat people, if you are a fat person, even if you're not, you can enjoy this song without irony whatsoever, because this song is for you. This song is for everybody. This song is I look the way I look, and I'm happy with the way I look, and I don't care what you think about it.
I was totally going to use an Axl Rose quote just now, but it's totally not appropriate for your show. Just remind me when we're done.
Okay.
Trust me, it's from way before Kinder Gentle, Axl. Just remind me after we're done.
Okay. I'll
yeah.
Okay, you tell me. And for those of you who may wonder, hit me up on social media, and I'll tell you after.
It's from Brazil in like 92 when people were throwing things at the band, and you can if you go to YouTube and just literally Google like crowd throwing things at GNR in 1992, you'll probably find the quote that I'm talking about.
Okay, so there you go. You have homework now.
Yep.
Sorry about that. We came back from big long break, and now we're giving you work to do on your own because I'm not about to tell you.
Well, it's kind of my theory on the way that we should handle people who go around saying ridiculous things on the internet. Like, like, here's my thing. If you are making up reasons to be upset over Weird Al Yankovic songs from, and I don't have a calculator in front of me, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
You should probably get off the internet.
Right. I agree. So,
or other people should be handling it the way the Axl Rose quote.
It's beautiful. So to start wrapping this up, let's talk about ultimately what fat did for Al, right? Because we've talked a lot about the video and just thinking on it, like Al did a video for Christmas at Ground Zero, but it was mostly just like, film clips from, the 60s, 50s and 60s, right? He did a video for Living with a Hernia. So there were videos from songs on Polka Party. But what was the last, like before Fat, what was the last video that like really got a lot of play on MTV?
I mean, I don't have the facts in front of me. Surgeon was, I recall Surgeon.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I mean, Surgeon wasn't like Eat It level. Nothing was Eat It level. But
Right.
I recall Surgeon being in like good rotation on MTV.
Okay, so this is absolutely.
Let me put it this way. Remember at the top of the episode, I was talking about how like from here forward is where I start getting like defensive and in near fist fights over Weird Al through the 90s.
Yep.
Okay. And you know that line in Austin Powers with like, my God, he's back. Well, in many ways, sir, big boy never went away. Right. Even worse. Okay. And then hold on. One more relate point. Me walking out of the Aspen Records, literally crying, holding Polka Party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even worse starts that thing where people come up to me and they're like, wow, did you know Weird Al's still around? And I'm like, Weird Al never went away.
Yep.
We've
been saying that for almost 40 years now.
Right,
Weird Al never went away.
Right. No. And then UHF comes out. They gave him a movie. He's still around. He never went away. And then he's doing Nirvana. Isn't that the Michael Jackson guy? He's still around. He never went away. All the way up to, you guys are in town to see Weird Al. Did you know he sold out Pine Knob? I didn't even know he was still around.
He never went away.
You know what I mean? Like, so this era starts that for me because of what you're talking about, that Polka Party gap, walking out of Aspen Records, crying, I'm all in on Polka Party. Everyone else forgets Weird Al for 10 seconds. And now for 40 years, every 2 years, I have to go, he never went away.
Yep.
And then other fan bases want to say dumb things. And not just the one that we're focused on here. Other fan bases want to be like, well, actually, if it wasn't for my artist, he wouldn't. And I'm not talking about just this particular artist. Actually, he wouldn't even be. Slow your roll. Actually, he extends the life of many of your artists by keeping them in the forefront of pop culture. But again, as we talked about before, nuance is dead on the internet.
Yep.
So,
Oh, for sure. So yes, like Fat was the thing that reestablished Weird Al as an MTV stalwart, right?
Mhm.
Fat was the thing that got everybody's attention back on him. And when I say everybody, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, as they say, as the kids on the podcasts and the YouTube channel say today, the normies.
The normies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When people are often insulting Star Wars and Star Trek these days on the YouTubes,
Okay.
they when they refer to the people who don't know Star Trek or Star Wars, they say the normies.
Okay.
I was recently given the nickname of Mom and Dad of Jacksonville, so I'm using Mom and Dad terms now.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's, first of all, I mentioned at the top of the show how the beer we started with, Large Deborah from Ardwolf Brewing Company, who they were awarded the Folio Best of Jack's Best
Folio
Brewery.
Best of Jack's. Tell me more.
Tell me more. So
That sounds like a prestigious award.
it is it's a major award. It's Fragile.
Yeah. I thought it would be here in Jacksonville. That sounds Italian.
So we're gonna sidebar here for just a second before we wrap up, because like, why the heck not, right? Because this is another thing that we do.
Please watch your language.
I know. I'm sorry. It's my show. Darn it. So as you know, Russ and I live in Jacksonville, and over the past year or so, we have started a Facebook group and a website and a blog for all of the cool things to do in Jacksonville. And the blog for Jacksonville Fun Eats and Drinks won the Folio Best of Jack's Best Local Blog Award. And you should be very proud of my husband, because that is totally his labor of love. And I'm just so excited to see that hard work be recognized. And I get to go to a red carpet affair with him to accept the award.
You do, and I thank you for being proud. And I'm very excited about the hard work that I put into it. And we are going to look pretty much like Weird Al looked on every red carpet he's ever been on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's gonna be great. I'm not going to lie when I say I got the notification that we won a few weeks back, and my heart about leaped out of my chest when I was reading the very beginning of the email. And then when I got to the red carpet thing and it was like dressed to impress, I snickered to myself and thought, this is probably how Weird Al felt every single time he got invited to any like VMAs or whatever. Cause it was like, nope, I'm going to dress like me.
I'm going to dress like me.
Yep.
And that's how we're going to do it.
But yeah, jacksfuneatsdrinks.com, now award-winning
Yeah.
blog.
The award-winning Jacksonville Fun Eats and Drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous. So anyway, we're drinking some award-winning beer there. We switched, by the way. We finished Large Deborah and we switched to Trogs Mad Elf, because that's the official beer of the Beard Out podcast.
But yeah, I mean, at least my closing comments on this,
because we're getting to that,
is this. I mean, it's no secret that I'm just a ridiculously huge fan of Michael Jackson and Weird Al. I would very quickly mention, just for anybody who may have stumbled upon your podcast recently, if you're new and you're like, yeah, but I wonder if this guy knows about that. Yes, I do. And I have done a massive amount of research into Michael Jackson. There is no amount of good songs or good videos that could ever erase if he was guilty of what the court of public opinion has accused him of. And if you ever have any questions, or if you ever would like to go at like a fact-based discussion into any of those things surrounding that, by all means, you can always hit me up on any of my own personal socials. And as long as you're looking for an open discussion and not just like a slap fight, because I'm not interested in that, I will be happy to guide you through a ton of fact-based information that would probably be eye-opening. I just like to clarify that every so often, because I don't want anybody to ever be like, I can't believe this guy just loves this dude when he, did all that stuff. Like, I've done a massive amount of research. And then the other thing I like to say too is, as far as Weird Al goes, I think that it goes without saying that this man has always had a enormous reverence, I think, for any artist that he has done parodies. And I actually almost got a little irritated today. I was looking around the internet for things about this.
Well, that was your first mistake.
Right. But because I was just going to use the phrase imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I saw someone say Weird Al is one of the best imitators they've ever seen. And it kind of irritated me because I was like, well, he's not an imitator. And while I don't love the way the person used that phrase, I will say that if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a person who's more flattering to any artist they've ever paid homage to than Weird Al. And at a minimum, I think Fat, all things together, the album cover, the video, and the song itself, is one of the greatest homages to Michael Jackson that he could ask for, especially, and to circle back to what I said earlier, given the fact that Brooke told us that he loved to be teased.
Yeah.
So for me, this was perfect storm at the time that it happened,
Uh-huh.
and a beautiful kickoff to a wonderful album. So
Yeah, and I think this episode is a beautiful kickoff to a wonderful series about a wonderful album.
I agree.
So
The rest of it's going to be
Even
worse.
but yeah, so
I'm going to do that all the way up to the last track, by the way.
Oh, I know, and you should, because that's the way it ought to be. It's good to be back though. Doing this, it was nice to talk about Weird Al in a way that, I mean, this was no different really than our usual life, except our other people get to hear it.
Oh, this is so random, but the only other thing I want to mention is that, like, that one meme that goes around where, like, some guy think he's really cool because he put a used copy of Bad next to a used copy of Even Worse.
Sure.
And like, okay, I get it. But like, I wish when I was a kid, I had like at least a disposable camera on me, because Meijer is a grocery chain in Michigan, and they had a huge record department, and they had these like 6 foot tall, it'd be 6 foot tall because it would be 3 records tall, right? Yes, they'd be 12 inch. Yeah. They had these 6 foot tall displays on the end of the music department that were like 4, 5, 6, like 2, 4. They were at least
I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah, my bad. Anyways, there were 4 records on each end cap in there. Yeah, so there were 12 records across. So when tentpole records like Bad came out, when you went to that aisle, it was 6 foot tall and 4 on the 2 on the end of each aisle, right? And there were 3 aisles. So it's just a massive, you'd go there and it'd just be
bad.
Yeah. But when Even Worse came out, which was, significantly after Bad, the people at Meijer put up, it was Bad all on one side and Even Worse on the other. And, this was way back then, but I would give anything to have had like a disposable camera or something, because we went there and my mom, bless her, was like, well, which one is the one you want? Because they look similar enough, and I was like, Mom, go over there. I was like, I'm not, just stand over there. I'll get the, but I bought it at Meijer, by the way, instead of Aspen Records.
Right. Yeah. Good.
You know why?
F those guys.
Yeah.
F them in the A.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the Meijer that I bought it at, 1.5 miles from Aspen Records. Could have drove around the corner to buy Even Worse from Aspen Records. Didn't.
Yep.
Didn't.
Because F them in the A for making you cry.
Mm-hmm.
What a great first episode of the Even Worse series. What a great first episode of the Beard Out podcast of 2026. That's madness. 2026. Anyhow, I don't have anything else to say. You said all you need to say?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Cool.
As you know, I could talk about this.
I know.
I could talk about both songs and both artists for another 3 hours, so I'm good.
Yeah. I don't think we need to talk anymore. All right, folks, we're back. And we're going to hit all of the tracks on Even Worse, and we're going to have a good time. I have some fun guests lined up. You've heard most of these people on the show before. but not all of them.
And a bit of mystery.
What?
There's no polka on this album yet. Polka Bob was going to make an appearance on this.
What are we
album?
going to do with Polka Bob on Even Worse?
What?
Oh, stay tuned.
What?
All right. We'll catch you again next time. Remember, stay weird and be nice to everybody. Okay, bye.